today is a big day. It's back to school for a lot of people as the third term begins. And of course, there was a looming teacher strike called by the Kenya National Union of Teachers as well as KUPPET. But that was called off yesterday, even as it seems that unions are still divided over whether or not to call a strike. But as of last night, the Kenya National Union of Teachers called off their planned strike and directed the members to report to work on Monday after they withdrew the notice. After a long day where the Kenya National Union of Teachers Executive Council met at the headquarters in Nairobi, their Secretary General said they had reached the decision of calling off the strike to give room for the TSC and the government to address their demands.
And I believe that is a reason why the TSC the teachers were actually directed to report back to work on August 26th, that is today. The decision was actually made after successful negotiations with the government, and the key issues include teachers' promotions and the 2021-2025 collective bargaining agreement and its implementation. As we are looking at such a situation, also page 4 and 5 clearly states that the candidates this year are actually talking about how they've gone through it all, keeping in mind that this is the same class that during one of their major examinations in 2020, they had to go through COVID-19. Most recently, maandamano, and now the looming strike would have been a really tough year for them to actually sit an examination.
Very true. Of course, the flooding as well. They are a group of students that has actually been through a lot, like you've mentioned, and they were pleading for the strike to be called off and for regular learning to resume for the third term. Of course, the issues that the teachers were putting forward have still not been dealt with. Like you said, there was issues with the 46,000 actually JSS teachers who were to be promoted on permanent and pensionable terms. There was also the failure to remit third-party deductions. That includes the pay to medical insurance. Sometimes even loan payments were not being remitted on time or not being remitted at all. NSSF remissions as well not being done. Then there was, of course, the CBA that you talked about, 2021 to 2025, which is a big thorn in the flesh of teachers. Let us know how it looks where you are. If you're on the way back to school, how are the roads looking? How is the energy looking? Are the teachers already back to school? I know it was very short notice yesterday, but are they back to school?
Also confusing for parents who had not prepared for Monday as an education day or as a day to actually take back the students. It is actually very confusing for individuals who also are in the transport sector because logistics, because other people are still traveling. There's transportation of goods from one place to the other, and sometimes this kind of decision actually calls for a delay in opening the schools. Example, giving the parents at least 6 days for them to plan for next week.
That's
instead
right.
of just reporting to school this week.
Labda wajafanya shopping, so many things.
Na wengine labda walikula pesa ya didi.
Yeah, wakasema,
ya school fees
si wanaenda
wakasema
strike.
si walisema